Hey Jazz Bear, how you doing? I'm gonna do push-ups because it's a special request from you. You said, hey G-Ma, can you do the push-ups again? And I said, sure, why not? So we'll start our tradition of doing push-ups in our videos. How's that sound? Okay, I think I'll do maybe 10 today. You can get down on the floor and do them with me. Are you ready? Here we go. Ready? We'll do one more because that first one wasn't a good one. There. Alright, now we'll start our story. Alright, time for our story, Jazz Bear. This story is from your great-grandma and it's called It's a Great Day. And it's about her life as a youngster. For a lazy person, the wintertime is the best for a farm kid. In the spring, summer, and fall, there's all kinds of extra work. There's the garden to get ready, and in the summer, there's the weeding and carrying the water from the well. If the rain doesn't come, and in the fall, there's all the preparation for the winter. So in the spring, it can all start again. The canning goes on all summer and fall, and the hog gets butchered, so we can have meat all year. And the peddlers come with all the spices and things that we can't make for ourselves. Isn't much paid for with money because there isn't much money. You don't usually go hungry on a farm. We never did. But there just never seemed to be much real money. So they had pigs and they did all their stuff. They didn't really need a lot of money, right? When I was a little girl, there was one magic book. It was called the Sears and Roebuck Catalog. The pages were turned to all the wonderful things 100 times or more, and each time the items grew more and more beautiful. So she's looking through catalog, a picture magazine of things she would like to get. And it made for loads of dreams at night. We had what they call a great imagination. In my dreams, I was wearing all the beautiful clothes in the book, and I was riding all the great bicycles, and the jewelry was all over my fingers and arms. You'd think once the book was replaced with the new one, the other one would be thrown away. Not just yet. I'd sit down for days and weeks and cut out all the people and the fancy clothes. Then I'd make cardboard, just the same size and shape of the people. And then with some flour paste my mom would make for me, I'd paste the cardboard onto the figures. And then with my cousin, when my cousin came to play, we'd play house. And we'd dress all those people in all the fancy clothes that we could and play all the roles ourselves. So it was almost like a homemade Barbie doll. Isn't that a great imagination? Your great-grandma had a great imagination. I'd have a deep voice for the man and a real high voice for all the girls and women. The only chores that were left was feeding what chickens we had left for laying of eggs. The cows, the mules, that's like a horse. And usually a mean goose and some ducks. This didn't take too long, and then it was playtime or adventure time. We had deep woods to the side of our house, and there was so much to see. If I got up real early and finished my chores, I'd be ready to follow my big brother into the woods. We'd find rocks that were especially formed, or sticks that looked like something, or maybe a flower that forgot that it was not time to grow. In Arkansas, you have what is called hot borings. These are little areas of water under the ground that don't have cold water running, but hot water. Whoa, hot water coming out of the ground. In some areas, this heats up areas of ground and the plants get confused and grow at odd times of the year. There is also a long railroad that runs through the property. It is flat on the ground, and then all of a sudden it has to cross between two hills. Oh, a train does, huh? I never knew this. When you walk across it and look down, it is really scary because it is so high off the ground. Oh wow, look at that. Someone else was afraid of heights besides you, Jazzbear. Your great grandma was afraid of heights. But I think she got over that eventually. The train guy goes by so fast, but sometimes the engineer threw candy to us because he saw us so often and we'd always be at the spot. He has to slow down to make a curve so he could wave hello or toss us the special candy. We also could walk over to see what my grandpa was doing and check out his overflowing well. This is an artesian well. It's underground, but we call it an overflowing well, as that's just what it did. It overflowed. So it's in the ground and it's flowing up like just keeps bubbling up. The overflowing well was a pipe in the ground that a big gush of water came out of all the time, day and night. It provided a place to wash the face or hands when they got so dirty in the summer. On this day, Grandpa was sharpening hoes and different knives and blades off plows and things. He had a big wheel and he'd pedal this thing and the wheel would go round and round real fast. Woo! When it went faster and faster, Grandpa would place the edge against it of the knife and the sparks would fly. And we'd laugh and giggle. He'd use a hand file to make it really sharp. So after he went and sharpened it with that wheel thingy, then he'd get a hand file and he'd sharpen the knife with his hand. We'd sit until we grew bored and then we'd wander off, spending time with their grandpa. I remember my grandpa so well. He lived just across the field from us. We'd walk across that field, making sure to step over the mounds of dirt and step into the dug out spaces. My legs weren't too long, so I try to step across and sometimes fall into the freshly plowed dirt. So this is her grandpa's land. He's plowing it to plant, and she's trying to go over the things and do the right thing so she doesn't step on it. My brother Dale could step over because he had these long legs. I had to copy him, so I tried to step real high. I'd usually wind up dirty as a little pig by the time we got to Grandpa's house. We'd wash in the overflowing well and wander up to the house. Grandpa had a bigger house than ours, and he had a fireplace and a porch that went all the way around the house. Oh, that sounds so nice, doesn't it? A porch all around the house. Ooh, I would like that. In the summer, you could put a chair on that porch anywhere all around the house and be in the shade and watch anything you wanted to watch. You could watch the road and maybe see a car go by. Zoom. Maybe 1 or 2 cars a whole day. Wow. Grandpa always wore overalls, and he was always humming this one tune. I love my grandpa so much. I know he had to have teeth at some time in his life, but I always remember him with no teeth and humming that tune. I can still hear him humming it if I call on my memories. My grandpa died in 1954, and I still miss him so much. I get this feeling he never left, just his earthly body died. because he still lives in all my memories. That's the neat part about memories. They last forever if you want them to. Aw, that's nice to hear. Every year, for as long as I remember, we made syrup. We'd raise sugar cane and we'd gather it all up in huge wagons. And down by the overflowing well, we'd have this strange covered thing. It had long trays atop an area that you fed with big pieces of wood. It had a funny thing that they hooked on a mule, and he would walk round and round and around. And when he did this, it would grind up the sugar cane, and from this came a juice. This juice fell into a bucket. The bucket was carried over to the long trays and poured in, and a big fire was built under the long trays. People kept that fire going while the mule went round and round, grinding the sugar came into a pulp and a juice. Once the juice was poured into the long trays, the men would push the juice back and forth with long sticks attached to something that looked like the end of a hoe. Like a hoe that you get the stuff up in the garden, the weeds and stuff. This was done to keep it from sticking and burning. They had skimmers to take off the bubbles that rose from the juice. This they discarded into a bucket. Oh, look at that. So they got the stuff, the bubbles off the top, and poured it into a bucket. And we kids would wipe our fingers into this. And it was yummy. This cane was constantly fed into this machine that turned as the mule walked round and round. Finally, at day's end, the syrup was done and into jars and divided among all the workers and folks that had brought the sugar cane. The mule was untied and rewarded with special oats and some of the syrup that we called sorghum syrup. The sugar cane was called sorghum. We were tired, dirty, and very sticky at day's end. And again, the overflowing well came in handy, so I guess they washed up in that well. This was done in the fall and in the winter. We would eat the syrup on homemade biscuits, and with the memories in our heads, go to sleep and use our imagination to make this a special time in our lives. This is neat. It reminds me of making cookies with your Mama Sarah and your Uncle Will. Of course, we didn't have a mule stirring our bowls or anything, but sometimes we used to just put down newspaper on the floor, like you and I did, Jazz Bear, and I'd put it there, and they would do like you did. They'd stir the bowls, and they'd make the cookies just like you did in Colorado. That was nice, Jazz Bear. I really liked that. It was a nice time. Your Mama Sarah and me used to also play Barbies. Her Aunt Ingrid got her some Barbies, and Mama Sarah and I would sit there on the floor, and I would do the same thing like your great grandma would do. I would be like with the guy doll, "Hi, my name's Ken." And Mama Sarah would be like, "I'm going to go shopping." It was a lot of fun. And I never really liked Barbies. When I was a kid, I didn't have Barbies. I didn't like Barbies. But playing Barbies with Mama Sarah was fun. It was lots of fun. And she would laugh and giggle. And you know what? It was a lot of fun playing with her because it was just different. Just different. I think we did stuff that real people would do. Like, I have to go to the store now and buy some flour. Just real stuff instead of this. I don't know. It was fun. I love you, Jazz Bear, and I hope you enjoyed It's a Great Day from your great grandma. Yeah, she would be so happy to know that you're hearing these stories. It would make her very happy to know that her stories have been passed down from generation to generation. That is a way to keep her memory alive. I love you, Jazz Bear. Oh, and we will be doing our push-up videos. We're going to start slow like we did before. Do a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit until Yep. You know. Till we get to what? 101, was it? Yeah, that'll be a great goal. Maybe it'll happen in 10 years. Yeah, maybe 10 years. Maybe. Yeah, you're almost. Okay. I love you, Jazz Bear. And Mama Sarah always loves you, and she's in your heart.